A deeper look now at Indiana's IREAD results. How many third graders are making the grade and how many are not?
Yes, we have new data, and it's looking at the number of third graders who were held back a grade. Jenna Webster breaks down the numbers and how the state is using that data moving forward.
Let's look at this dashboard and start to pick it apart.
At its monthly meeting, Indiana State Board of Education is getting a clearer picture of third graders who did not pass the IREAD test or aren't reading at a proficient level.
84,000 students tested. So 10,663 students did not pass.
Under a new law, if third graders don't pass the IREAD, they'll be held back. Of those 10,000 something students, around 3,000 are repeating third grade.
Those were the numbers that were being thrown out, is that it would be 7,000 to 10,000, that this law would trigger retention. But in fact, huge shout out to our teachers and our people.
The other 7,000 students who didn't pass but were able to move to fourth grade met what's called a good cause exemption. Those are decided on a case-by-case basis. 75% of those students are in special ed. 24% are English language learners with less than 2 years of those ELL services, and 1% were either held back the previous year or scored high in math.
What's your goal of what you'd really like to drill into on that 3,040 in the future? How do we help schools?
Anna Schultz, the state's chief academic officer, says it's looking at the day-to-day in schools and what staff is included in professional development training.
What is needed for an English language learner would be different than somebody in special education.
Continuing to invest in academic support programs is part of that too. For example, the Summer Learning Lab says its students are seeing better test results, especially when combined with Indiana Learns tutoring.
With all of the work that's already happening in schools, that's a recipe for drastic acceleration of learning.
That it was a really tight budget session this year.
Secretary of Education Katie Jenner says they're seeing a clear return on investment, and combining public and private funds could help.
I mean, it could just be a way for us to open up additional funding for our communities during this moment of time so that we don't lose any speed.
The goal to continue seeing increases in reading proficiency. Jenna Webster, 13 News.
And the Secretary of Education also gave an update on a request to combine funding from more than 15 federal education programs into one block grant. Well, the state had a meeting last week with the U.S. Department of Ed to answer questions about the waiver, and another is scheduled for this week. The federal government has 120 days to approve that waiver.